This video is to inform you about the current situation regarding electric vehicles in Australia and around the world in early 2024. Since I uploaded Electric Vehicle Dilemmas 4 years ago, a lot of progress has happened in the EV industry, especially with increased range and decreased cost. Unfortunately, to produce an electric vehicle, it still uses a bit more electrical energy and also creates more greenhouse gases than to produce a petrol vehicle. Fortunately, retail prices are slowly coming down, but electric cars are still more expensive to buy than their petrol equivalent. With less moving parts, service costs should be lower, but some EVs are having electrical and computer problems, so the service cost is often similar. But it costs slightly more to repair an EV involved in a car accident, and if the battery pack is damaged, the car will most likely be written off. EVs are much less likely to catch on fire than a petrol car, but if they do, the flame is at least 3 times hotter, so nearby vehicles will be damaged and the fumes are much more toxic. For the previous reasons, it costs more to insure an electric car than the equivalent model petrol car. With a large underfloor battery, some EVs don't provide a spare wheel, which is important in Australia. Also, there is usually a little less room for your luggage in an EV than in the equivalent petrol model. Owners who think they can charge their EV battery for free forget that they spent $10,000 on solar panels plus $5,000 on a battery and may have spent $2,000 on a fast charger. EV owners who don't have a garage and all the solar equipment will unfortunately have to go to an expensive charging station. Many electric vehicles are not designed to tow a trailer, boat or caravan. If this applies to you, check before you buy the EV. Driving range decreases with frequent fast charging, also in cold weather and each year as the battery ages. EV owners who travel long distances in cold or hilly areas against a headwind or with an aging battery can experience range anxiety. Anxiety increases with a lack of charging stations along the way and frustration with then finding fast chargers that don't work. You can refuel with petrol and pay within 10 minutes. Unfortunately, some electric vehicles can take many hours to recharge, especially if there is a queue. You may also be shocked to learn that most of the electricity to charge the EV battery at a charging station comes from fossil fuels. Electric vehicles depreciate faster than ICE cars, and most will be worth very little within 10 years of purchase. It is estimated a replacement battery in 10 years will cost more than your car is then worth, and by then, cheaper EVs with better batteries will make your old car obsolete. Compared with 2023, EV sales in 2024 are declining in Europe, so Mercedes, BMW and others are cutting back on production and offering discounts of around €5,000 to clear existing stock. With the decline of EV sales in Japan this year, Toyota and Mazda have announced that they are ceasing production of future electric vehicles and are looking at other technologies. Also, with declining sales of EVs in America in 2024, General Motors and Ford are both reducing production of all their electric vehicles. Hertz in America recently dumped 20,000 Tesla hire cars onto the used car market. This further reduced all Tesla second-hand car prices and trade-in values. For various reasons, including rapid acceleration and driving on autopilot without the driver concentrating on their surroundings, Tesla vehicles in America are overrepresented in car accidents resulting in death. Nearly half of the owners of non-Tesla electric cars will not buy another EV. Tesla owners are a bit more loyal and don't want egg on their face by admitting that they hopped on the bandwagon a bit early. Tesla pioneered the electric vehicle revolution, but with some problems and recent falling sales, BYD, a Chinese company, is now selling more EVs worldwide than Tesla. BYD has already established 12 dealerships in Australia, and the 803 hatch offers good value for money. BMW supplied a 740i and an i7 EV to compare the cost to drive from Melbourne to Sydney. It costs less to top up premium fuel in the 740i than to top up the i7 battery. An unforeseen future problem could affect the structural integrity of some multi-storey car parks because of the heavier EV cars replacing the lighter petrol cars. The Australian government relies on a fuel excise tax to build our roads. If they ban ICE cars after 2030, where will they get the money from to properly maintain our roads? Also, who will pay to install 80 fast chargers from Adelaide to Darwin, a distance of 3,000 kilometres, plus 60 fast chargers across the Nullarbor? And where in the remote outback will they get the electricity from to supply the EV charging stations? Because electric vehicles are so quiet, pedestrians are more likely to walk into the path of an approaching EV. Also, animals on the road or children playing in a street are more likely to get injured or killed by an electric car than by a more noisy petrol car. With Western nations reducing fossil fuel usage, carbon and other greenhouse gases could still go up because China is building 2 coal-fired power stations every month. In Australia, most 20-year-old solar panel materials end up in landfill. An electric vehicle battery pack typically houses thousands of individual lithium-ion batteries containing various chemicals. Hopefully, someone will find a way to recover these chemicals so they don't end up in landfill. The mining of lithium, cobalt, nickel and other chemicals, plus the manufacture and disposal many years later, is a growing environmental disaster, which the Greens should expose. Informed people know that wind, solar and pumped hydro only generate electricity about 50% of the time. So without fossil fuels, Australia needs reliable 24/7 nuclear power for industry, homes and to recharge all those EVs. For the mentioned concerns about EVs and environmental reasons, voters should ask their politicians to drop their ill-conceived proposal to ban from 2030 the sale of internal combustion engine vehicles in Australia, and worse still, even in the vast Aussie outback. For further information, see some related YouTube links below this online video. Please forward this video to your friends so they can also pressure the government to come to their senses. And subscribe to this channel, Greatest Suggestions, to be advised when I upload another great suggestion.